Hello everyone, Philip from BlackBull Markets here, and here we have another Whiteboard Wizards video for you. This one we're looking at wick fills. So wick fills is, put it simple, I'll quickly draw it on the board, finding some space, so I'll just draw it up here, is when obviously a wick gets filled. So what we have, for example, is we have a market moving to the upside, just in this example, and we see a wick move, and what we want to see is this wick to get filled, right? So ideally we would want the market to push up, usually creates a bit of support, and then we see that move continue further higher to fill that wick and take profits over here, obviously stop losses over. We'll talk about that more in the video. So main thing is we want this wick to be filled either to the up or to the downside. I'll take you through which wicks tend to be filled and which don't tend to be filled. So I've got a couple of examples here for you. I'll take you through them. I'll take you what we look for to potentially see if the wick's going to get filled or if it's not going to get filled, and how we can even use the wick to see if the market is giving us an opportunity to get back into the trend of the market. So starting off with number one, we have a move to the upside. So we have a bit of an uptrend, and we can see we did create this nice wick to the downside over here, and what we want is to see if this wick's going to be filled. So what we're looking for are these support and resistance areas. So first of all, starting off, we need to analyze this chart, right? So what we have here, come on this side, we have a bit of a consolidation area over here. So you can see candles opens and closes all stay above and below the zone. We have the wick to come back into that zone. We can see this big nice move to the upside with a candle. So chances are, I'll tell you now, this wick is most likely not going to get filled. Reasons are because we can see we're in a nice strong trend. We can see we had a strong move to the upside. We did have this wick over here creating a bit of a range for the market to start pushing into. To make it a bit easier to see, what we have here essentially is the market moves in a direction, see a bit of consolidation, a break and a retest of a zone, right? So we have that retest. So obviously retests, we all know we like to take the buy here to continue further to the upside. So chances are this wick is not going to get filled. And what we would most likely be seeing on this chart would be something like this. We have the close, we have the open, but probably a bit of a retracement just for the market to sort of settle, and then we will see the market continue to the upside. So this one obviously is a no fill, right? Because we have a support that was been broken, so a resistance been broken, support being tested, and to continue further to the upside. Moving on to number two, we can see we do have a bit of consolidation here. So let's try and find zones in this area. So we have first zone right over here. We have our second zone over here. And then we have a bit of a zone right over here. But obviously we can see there's nothing here. So this one is, we need to keep it in mind, but it's not that relevant, right? So we have two wicks on this side. We've got a wick to the upside and a wick to the downside. Now try and figure out which one of these will get filled and which one won't. So obviously consolidation, there's no clear direction in the market, so we need to figure out which way is this going to continue. So we have a wick testing and a wick testing, right? Now looking at this, we can see we have our resistance up over here, and what we can see is the market consolidated, use this wick to test this resistance, and we can see it created also a nice wick to the downside. So chances are the bottom one will get filled. Reasons are because we have this resistance, not a lot of movement in this area, so this is almost a bit of a no trade zone. I mean, you can look to trade this on a smaller time frame depending on what time frame this is. For example, if it was a daily, then yes, of course you can trade between these two zones, but for the wick fill area, we ideally want this. So we have this retest over here with that wick, and what we're potentially looking for is the market to open here. It'll probably give us a bit of a test, just to test on this inner resistance and then continue further to the downside. Now when taking these trades, I'll just draw this in another color so it makes it a bit easier. When taking these trades, we have to keep a certain thing in mind, and that is we need to use take profits. And I always advise clients, you always need to use it take profits to manage your trades and to bank profits as early as you can. Well, not as early as you can, but to bank profits when you can, and don't risk anymore. So we always want to use stop losses using wick fills, in my opinion. You can obviously, if you want to, split your trade up in two. So for example, if you take a 1.0 trade, you can split that up into two 0.5s and leave a runner. So take profit on one and then obviously let this one run. Okay, so what we're looking for is that test, and we're looking for this move. So the reasons for the take profit is because sometimes we can see this fill the wick and then retrace back into that zone. Obviously we can see that we had a similar structure over here, so chances I will probably see that again here. So but nonetheless this wick got filled, right? So that is full. The wick got filled. Now moving on to the next one. This one's pretty fairly easy to see. We do have the move to the upside, a nice strong move to the upside. We can see we have this massive wick over here, and we do also have a wick over here. So looking at this, we can see it looks very similar to number one, right? It's a very, very similar structure, right? I'll draw that for you. So we can see here in this one, market moved, consolidated, moved, retested, and we're looking for the potential move back to the upside. Now this one again, looking at our zones, we have this section over here using those wicks as well, and we have this section in here. So just a quick bit of helpful information as well. This section that we're looking at over here is ideally you don't want to trade within this area over here, because this is what I call a no trade zone, because we can see this consolidation, market doesn't know what it wants to do. So if you want to trade, I would suggest trading below and above this area. Just a bit of helpful advice, I would think, just to manage your risk. Otherwise you're going to take small little trades, and these trades will start nipping away at your account, and eventually you'll blow it slowly but surely. You will keep, if you keep doing that, it will cause devastation. So what we have, like I mentioned before, is very similar to our example number one. We have a move to the upside, we have, so you can see a slight move to the upside, and then we have this consolidation section, and then a strong break of this consolidation. We see the market closed obviously, so we have our wick, and then we have that retest, and then it went back up again and the candle closed. So we have a retest of support, or X resistance, that now turned to support. So yes, this one is, if you thought this one will get filled, you are most likely going to be right. So we do have that retest. Things what we could see, what we have to keep in mind as well, these always cause a slight bit of support slash resistance areas. We just need to keep this in mind. So we could, for example, see something like this happen, nice wick to the downside. I would advise, if you go to trade this, you can take a trade using this wick if you see a retest of that support, and depending on the volume in the market, if there's a lot of trading going on, if a lot of liquidity, then yes, you can take that, but just be wary that it can continue further downwards. It can be a risky trade to take, but for me personally, I would wait for this candle to move above the section that we have over here. So candle opens, we see a bit of a retest, and we see it starting to move to the upside. Then enter, and you can put your stop loss just below this section over here. And what we expect to see is a candle, nice candle to the upside to fill this zone. Again, treating it similar to this one. If we do look back in history, chances are this is a old resistance area. If it's a new one, same concept applies. I would always advise you to use a take profit. Always know when you want to enter, where you want to exit the market, whether it's in profit or in negative. You need to know when you're going to be right and when you're going to be wrong. So don't hold on to these negative trades hoping that the market can turn around. That can also cause you a lot of devastation. So because, like I said, with a take profit, we can see this candle move up to the upside and then come all the way back down to this support and close, and then we could possibly see a reversal on the market. So that's something we can keep in mind. You need to keep in mind as well. So always with these trades, I would always advise you to use a take profit. Stop loss obviously as well. So stop loss, we'll just quickly draw it again. So we have the market, right, and we have a candle with a wick. We're looking for this wick to fill. We enter the market here. Obviously stop losses, if there was candles or something that happened here. Stop loss below these, entry price, target price. Always have a target and an entry and exit strategy. So I hope you guys did enjoy that. Just keep in mind, obviously, sorry, that was a fill. So keep in mind that you need to manage your risk. Use these take profits. I hope you did like it. If you did, give us that thumbs up. Click the subscribe button, followed by the bell icon to get notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comments or contact us at support@blackbullmarkets.com. They can send that by email. If you want, you can go to blackbullmarkets.com and click the green button at the top that says live chat, and we'll be happy to help you. Alright, everyone, thanks very much for watching. Safe trading.